Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of League One predictions. We are nearly at the finish line. It is the penultimate round of the season. It's Ian and Thomas with you as always, and let's jump into it with Peterborough United versus Lincoln City.
Peterborough have blown it. Their most recent result, which I know you'll talk about, has pretty much gifted the title to Hull. They had the chance. They could have been a point away. It could have gone down to the wire. Now they're 3 behind Hull, but they're going up in automatic promotion. They'll be gracing championship. They play such a great brand of attacking football. I understand I'm not just supposed to be spewing these facts out to you, but it's going to be great. Lincoln City, on the other hand, look pretty secure in their playoff place. They refound their form really well. They've won 4 out of the last 5 matches. They're looking right back to the club that was almost leading the league for large portions of the season. How do you see this match going?
Peterborough United, all you had to do was beat Doncaster to keep my sliver of a hope of winning this bet alive, Thomas. Do you know how much I need that money? Do you know how much debt I am in? That could have really helped me save my thumbs and my legs, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. 2-0 up against Doncaster, and they blew it against Doncaster of all sides. Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible. So it looks like that bet's over for me. Second versus third should be a good game. Lincoln right back at it. George Grant back now as well, so that's amazing news for them. And they look, along with Peterborough, they look the strongest sides in the league, which is probably not a crazy statement considering they're second and third, but Lincoln do look much like the side they were at the start of the season. Yeah. I'm going to just edge out Peterborough because I've got like a 0.0001% chance of still winning this bet. So I'm going to go for a Peterborough 2-1 win.
I think Mapp deserves great credit for what he's done at Lincoln City. It's really good to see them hit form again. And obviously you live in Lincoln, so it's probably nice to see your current town of choice doing well in the league.
City of
City of choice. Village? Yes. Hamlet. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think it's going to be a tight, cagey game. I don't think Peterborough are going to win the league this year, and I think they'll kind of just meander to the end of the year now. 1-1. Fleetwood Town versus MK Dons.
Speaking about meandering towards the end of the season, that's what these two sides are doing, and Fleetwood probably more than most. They got absolutely destroyed by Burton Albion by 5-2. Terrible performance from them. Very unlike them to get hammered by that scoreline. MK Dons doing really well. They're going to finish much higher in the table than I would have thought so. You probably thought differently. And I would say they still have a 0.0001111 recurring chance of getting into playoffs if the absolute miracle happens. But I think that this one will be... I think Fleetwood will want to bounce back and end the season on their final home game on a high. So I'm going to go for another score like I did for the first one, 2-1 Fleetwood Town.
Yeah, MK Dons, if they win both their matches and Charlton, Oxford and Portsmouth lose every game to the end of the season, they would go into the playoffs, but that's probably not going to happen. Fleetwood Town, a shit show of a year. What a loss against Burton Albion. They've lost 3 of their last 5. They're not coming to this match on form, and we know they have a serious problem. They actually scored 2 goals this weekend and still couldn't win a football match. Normally, they'd win to be 2-0.
Balance. You scored, you concede 5. You can see the quandary they're in.
I'm going to go 1-0 to the Dons because, even though Joey's gone, never back to town.
Just quick shout out, MK Dons beat Swindon 5-0. Good job. Burton Albion versus Gillingham.
I'll start with Gillingham because we both know I'll talk too much about Burton Albion. They're in 10th, no chance of making the playoffs anymore. They are, as we said in the last match, meandering to the end of the year, 63 points. They've only won 1 of their last 5, drawn 2, lost 2. But Burton Albion, good lord, I know you'll talk about their 5-2 victory, which you just mentioned earlier, but 2 wins in the last 5, 2 draws and a loss. They're right back to mid-table mediocrity in 16th place. No chance of relegation. Only 2 months ago, cut adrift to the bottom of the table. Jimmy Floyd is a savant. Bring him in at Oxford United. Get rid of Carl. Bring in Jimmy Floyd. He is the greatest football manager outside the Premier League. In fact, Man United, call him because anyone's better than Ollie.
Get a Man United. We don't want him in Oxford United.
I digress, though. Ian, what are your thoughts on this game?
Nothing to say about Gillingham. I'm going to talk all about Burton. Jimmy. Please, if you're listening to this, you can send your boys out to absolutely hammer Gillingham and then give them a week off the week after that. A week off for the final day of the season. They don't even need to turn up to Oxford. Even give Oxford a bye would be perfect, in fact. So let the troops go and have their final day of the season. Let them parade around in the sunshine and have a wonderful final home game of the season. Tremendous 5-2 win. They do frighten the life out of me for this final game if it does come down to the crunch. Oxford United's Kane Hemmings scoring 2 goals. And Burton are going to win this game. They're going to beat the Gills. And third score in a row, 2-1.
I am going 2-0 to Albion. Rochdale versus Doncaster Rovers. All bells.
Both these sides wound me. They wound me. Rochdale, man. You know how much I love and care for you. Like a nurturing a small child, I believe, when I watch Rochdale play. But what is going on? You somehow rescued a 97th minute equalising goal against Crewe to keep your hopes alive. You were 2-0 up against Wimbledon. You were 3-2 up against Wimbledon. You saved a penalty only to concede that equaliser in the 96th minute of the game to all but see you down now. You have to find a win here. Doncaster, can't you just lose? You were so good at losing. You were so good, like for this second half of the season. Why did you have to go and get that draw against Peterborough? I think Doncaster fans will just think that, like, because Doncaster fans must get frustrated with every positive result they get, because that still shows that that's a good side in there, and they should have all they needed to do was just be half decent to secure a playoff spot in the second half of this season, and they just fell off a cliff. I do hope Rochdale get the win here. I don't think they will. I'm going to go for a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1.
So, Ian, if Wigan Athletic win this weekend, Rochdale are down no matter what, but I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight. I agree they're not going to get 3 points from this game. I do really want to quickly touch on Doncaster. They currently sit pretty much perfectly mid-table in 13th, with 60 goals scored and 60 goals conceded. They have a goal difference of 0. They're on 61 points, and their season has fallen apart so tremendously. They were 3rd in the league when they beat Oxford United. Their fans were on a high, talking about what a great side this was. And this shows how terrible they've been. They've dropped from 3rd place to 13th in about 2 or 3 months of play. It has been a fall from grace since Darren Moore left in January and the team just completely lost its way. I don't see a great match here. I'm going 0-0. The Unnamed Football Club versus Ipswich Town.
You probably think I'm going to laugh, and you probably think I'm going to holler and cheer and celebrate, but I'm not. And I'm going to say their name. Swindon Town got relegated last weekend. It was an appalling result, and it's been an appalling season for them, really, to lose 5-0. It's to go from where they were last season to where they are now is really, well, not from an Oxford point of view that we really care, but from everyone else must be really disappointing. And I don't really need to rub their nose in the dirt anymore about it. There's a lot of off-field problems going on at Swindon. I hope they sort it all out. I hope they're not languishing and struggling and looking like they might go out of business or have points deductions or anything like that. So I hope they can just get their house in order and have a decent League Two campaign next time round. And they do come up against an Ipswich Town side who suck the life out of every game of football. They've become the new Shrewsbury Town, Thomas, of this league. And I don't see this one being entertaining. I'm going for a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, this is a pretty devastating match. Swindon down, as you said, no chance of anything. They've lost something 7 of their last 8 or 9 games or something. It's hard to see anything good happening with them. Ipswich Town, right above Doncaster Rovers, just a point clear of them. They haven't won a match in ages, drawn 3 of their last 5, lost 2. I'm going to be honest, though, I don't back the Swindon side. They are genuinely careening to the end of the year. I'm going to go 1-0 to Town.
Northampton Town versus Blackpool.
This is the second side that are going to be strongly affected by Wigan Athletic's match. They currently sit 4 points behind Wigan. They need Wigan to lose. The draw helps them, but not enough. And they are a club in desperate need, and they drew their last match, and I know you'll talk about that. A win would have seen them really, really close to Wigan. They'd have only been 2 points away with basically the same goal difference. Blackpool back in the playoff places, 71 points. They look pretty much assured of a playoff place this season. They've got one of the better goal differences outside of the top four. They won their last match. I see a Blackpool win here. I'm going to go first. Blackpool 2-0.
That does sound pretty sound logic there, Thomas, but I must remind you that Blackpool, the only side they can beat recently is Sunderland. They did a 1-0 double over Sunderland home and away, and as they are not playing Sunderland, I think that all the smart money has to be on Northampton here. No, I'm only kidding. What a great victory for Blackpool after a couple of crap results to play Sunderland. They needed a wonder strike from Sonny Kaikai, really. Great goal and some heroics from their goalkeeper to keep Sunderland out at the other end. But that's pretty much put them over the line now, I would say, for the playoffs. So maybe they can just ease off and let Northampton win this one. I think we'd all like to see the Cobblers win it, but I'm not going to be backing them, no. I'm going to go for... In fact, I'm going to match your score. I'm going to go for a nice, solid Blackpool win, 2-0 to the Tangerines.
Now it's time for me to thank all of our Patreon subscribers, those on our League 2 shouting don't get a specific shout out, but thank you so much for being with us. And thank you to David Stenhouse, Matt Lombardi, PJ Simpson, Matthew Bowden, Robert Allen, and the immutable Matt Urankin, Grandstand Betters.
Yes, our Patreon details are on the screen and down in the description below. So check out the different tiers that we have. If you want to back our Patreon, we greatly appreciate it. We have loads of different tiers, as I said, and they all come with their little perks of membership, so you can pick a tier that is most affordable to you. But if you don't want to back us financially, just by watching and liking and subscribing helps us out a lot, and that's done with the shilling. And back over to predictions with Plymouth Argyle versus Sunderland.
Oh, Sunderland, you were so close to challenging for the league. You sit on 73 points now. You're 10 below second place Peterborough. You're going into the playoffs again. You have a great goal difference, but my God, the draws and losses have killed you. They haven't won a game in like 6 matches. They've lost 3 of the last 5 and drawn 2. It is dire, but they come up against Plymouth Argyle, who are lucky to have not been dragged into the relegation battle to end the season. 4 losses in their last 5. They've had two losses in a row. They've shipped 76 goals, making them like the tied for the 3rd worst defense in the league. It is dire at Plymouth right now. Ian, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, I think it's 7 games without a win for Sunderland, but we got a bit of a fan base for this now, so I have to just prompt you because you kind of forgot it. Plymouth Argyle.
Green Army.
There we go. Yeah, I think Sunderland will be delighted to have Plymouth here because it's been an atrocious run of form for them, and they don't want to get sucked into any kind of battle for the playoffs. With this 3-team merry-go-round between Oxford, Charlton and Portsmouth. They don't want to be anywhere near that, so they'll be happy to get this one against Plymouth, who look absolutely done and dusted. Look, they're a good side going forward, but they can't defend, and we saw that against Oxford last weekend. Terrible at the back. Some of the defending from set pieces especially was very suspect, and I expect Sunderland to just about fall and splutter over the line here and get the job done. I'm going for a 2-1 Sunderland win.
Copying you. 2-1. Sunderland win. Accrington Stanley versus Charlton Athletic.
Accrington and Charlton, Tom, were involved in crazy games last night. You know, whenever it was Tuesday night for when you see this video, and Accrington 3-3 draw. No sign of them letting up this season. No sign of them giving anyone an easy ride. They were 2-0 up against Pompey. Then Pompey dragged them back to lead 3-2, only for Accrington to steal that equaliser thanks to a John Marquis own goal in the last few seconds. We'll get to the Pompey side of it when we reach them, but a great result from an Oxford point of view for Stanley, so thank you, Stanley. And thank you from an Oxford point of view to Charlton for being 1-0 up and 2-1 up against Crewe and finding a way to balls that up and draw 2-2 as well. Very much 2 results that we needed, and I see this one being I want to go for a draw, but I have a feeling that Charlton are going to win this game. I don't know why. I just feel that they really need it. And I just think Accrington, you shouldn't back against them, but I think Charlton are going to win 1-0. Dagger through the heart. I see it.
Like, I don't need to tell you where these teams are in the league. We know Charlton are very close to a playoff place. We know Accrington Stanley have tailed off towards the end of the year. But they have stayed very strong in not losing a bunch of matches recently and being hard to beat. They've drawn 3 of their last 5. They've won 1 of them. They are a tough side to beat, even when they're not on form. And I got to be honest, Ian, I think they're going to do Oxford a favour here. 1-1 draw.
Will be a very welcome favour indeed. Bristol Rovers versus Crewe Alexandra.
My commiserations to Charlie Haynes and One Rovers blogs. Bristol Rovers are down. They haven't won a match in 4. They sit bottom of the table on 38 points. It has been tough for them. Crewe Alexandra, really good debut season in the league, sit 14th right now. They've got 60 points. That's a pretty decent haul. They played some good football at times. They've been devastated by COVID early in the season, so their ability to keep winning games with all the cancellations is commendable. I can't see Bristol Rovers winning this, and I'm just going to go ahead of you and go 2-0 to the Alexandra.
I still haven't forgiven Crewe for cancelling those games against... No, I'm only kidding.
6 points! Give us the 6 points!
All that nonsense against Oxford earlier on in the season. But look, for Bristol Rovers, it's been a train wreck, just like we said for Swindon. 3 different managers, and seemingly the managers got worse as they went on. Burton... they talked about it on EFL on Quest, how he came out after 2 games and said, I think we've got enough to stay up. And now he's coming out saying stuff like, yeah, we deserve to go down. We've not been good enough. And they've got so many players out of contract. You're going to see a completely different Bristol Rovers squad that starts the next season from this one. And, you know, we'll see what Barton does. He's already said he doesn't count this as a relegation against him. So he's already passing the buck, so that's not a good sign.
Is he allowed to do that? Is that how relegation works?
Whatever. I mean, look, I don't know where you stand. I don't know what Bristol Rovers fans must think of him. There must be some that kind of still have some hope that he can turn it around, because he did do a good job with Fleetwood, but there must be many that are sick of him already. And I actually hope Crewe win this game. I'm going to go for I don't see Bristol Rovers. They surrendered pretty meekly to Pompey, not really giving it much of a go. And I see Crewe having a good day out here. I'm going to go for 3-0 Crewe.
Ooh, a drubbing. AFC Wimbledon versus Pompey FC.
Wow, Portsmouth. Wow. The fans, Thomas, the fans. But the heartache that they put their fans through in that game against Accrington. 2-0 down, so you can imagine what the mood was like. Start the second half. They get 2 quick goals through Marquis and Williams to get it back to 2-2. An overhead kick of sorts from Marquis looks like it's won the game for them in the 91st minute, only for Marquis to go from hero to villain with an own goal in the 95th minute. Not much he could do about it with the goalie palming it straight out onto him, and it just went into the bottom corner. So the ecstasy to agony from the Pompey fans is, I don't even know, must be off the scale. Oxford were delighted by it. We were heartbroken and then delighted the other way round from them. So, well, thank you for Accrington for that one. Hopefully Pompey struggles continue. They don't look that sure of themselves. They don't look like a side that's full of confidence. They look like a side that's really struggling. And Wimbledon is not the side you want to play when you are struggling. They look a really good unit, a really solid outfit. And I think that the Wimbledon will be desperate to cause an upset here. They still need a point or 2 just to be sure, and they'll fancy their chances of carrying on their good form against Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, as you say, that's dropped them to 6th. They're only a point above Oxford United. Wow, how the mighty fall. Another club like Sunderland that had multiple chances to kind of get up into the upper echelons of the table and have blown it. Wimbledon, absolutely sensational end to the season. I don't think they've lost in 8 games. Am I right about that, Ian? Something.
Yeah.
Along those lines. They've won like 5 or 6 of them. They've drawn their last 2. They are essentially safe. They've got 5 goals better goal difference than Rochdale, who are closest to them. Rochdale and Northampton both on 44. But Wimbledon fans, congratulations to you. We thought you were going to have a hard year. You have done really well, and it looks like you're going to stay up. Honestly, Ian, I see a draw here. I see a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Just remember, Wimbledon did. Both these sides had 3 or draws. We talked about the Pompey one, but a great draw for Wimbledon. Their never stay die attitude of getting that goal in the 96th minute from the ever reliable Joe Pigott against Rochdale has kind of just kept them at bay, kept the Dale away from them, and they deserve to be in the league next season. So they've done really well, and hopefully, from an Oxford United point of view, another fantastic result for us. Hull City versus Wigan Athletic.
This is the match that everybody down the bottom of the table are watching. Wigan Athletic currently 4 points clear of both Rochdale and Northampton Town. A win and Rochdale and Northampton Town drop down to the League Two, but they are coming up against champions-elect Hull City. Hull, after Peterborough United's ridiculous recent draw, sit 3 points clear at the top of the table, which, if my maths are correct, a win and a draw wins them the league. How do you see this match?
It could be sewn up, couldn't it, depending on how Peterborough get on against Lincoln this weekend. I see Hull winning it, cut and dry, not to go on about too much. Hull have been the best side in League One this season. They thoroughly deserve promotion. They thoroughly deserve to be top of the league, and they'll probably go on and win it. And Wigan have been really good too, and I hope they do stay up as well. I mean, there's a lot of clubs down there that I do hope stay up. Obviously, not all of them can, but Wigan's form has certainly made them the most likely candidates to do that. But I don't see anyone stopping Hull. A march to glory for them. I'm going for 2-0 to the Tigers.
3-0 to the Tigers. Shake it off, Ian. Shake it off.
I'm too nervous. It's the main event.
Shrewsbury Town versus Oxford United.
We're in the mix, Thomas. We're in the mix. I know we dropped down from 5th to, is it 8th or 7th? 7th?
7th.
But we're in the mix. Those sides had games in hand, so we had a feeling that we wouldn't stay in 5th place after Tuesday. But with Charlton and Pompey both drawing, Oxford's still in with a really good chance of getting in these playoffs. And they come up against a Shrewsbury Town side, Town side that they had recently beaten by 4-1. But when we ever go to Gay Meadow or Loop Meadow, whatever they call it these days, the games seem to be absolutely crazy. The last 2 seasons have seen Oxford win 3-2 on both occasions. We had the Gavin White show 2 years ago. We had Oxford coming back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 in the last second, which was the final game before lockdown, which meant Oxford did get a playoff berth last season. Maybe it is going to be third time to charm again, and Oxford come up with the same scoreline. But all they need to do is win, Tom. Everything else is irrelevant. All the talking and the bluster is irrelevant. They just got to win this game.
Yeah, they're coming up a different sort of Shrewsbury Town side as well. Last couple seasons, it has been the anti-football show. This year, they tried to play some football. It hasn't quite worked out for them. They're sitting down near the bottom of the table. They've just done well enough to not be drawn into that awful area of being in the relegation battle. They sit on 53 points, so only 3 clear of AFC Wimbledon, who obviously still could go down if everything goes against them. They got to win here, Ian. Oxford United have to win. The playoff hope feels dead if they can't do that.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Good news for Oxford United. Goran and Sykes signed new contracts this week, so I believe it's only really Ruffles who's the only mainstay of the first team who still hasn't signed a contract yet, so that's good signs. I don't think Barker's going to be available for this game. I think he's still going to be injured, so does Carl Robinson carry on with Shadipo, despite his form not being so good? I would personally rather see Anthony Ford come into the side and play on the wing, and or play him in the middle and play Elliot Lee out wide, and then obviously keep starting Dan Adjie as well. I think Dan Adjie could make a massive difference in this game. It was good that Taylor got a couple of goals. I think Brannigan is getting better and better in that holding role. He really led the game against Plymouth. He really drove. He wasn't the captain, but he really drove the team forward, and his passing is exceptional from that range.
Yeah.
Proper quarterback from that range, Thomas.
Is he Andrea Pirlo in disguise?
He's more like a discount Gerrard.
Okay.
I have to go for an Oxford win, of course, and I think Oxford will win this game. I don't think Shrewsbury are particularly strong at the back, and I think Oxford will find a win, and I'm going to go with that same scoreline of what we won the last 2 seasons. Shrewsbury 2, Oxford United 3.
Yeah, if you weren't doing that, I was going to go 3-2, but
do it.
I'm showing faith in Oxford.
Do it.
2-0 to the Yellows.
Oh, that sounds a lot more comfortable and less stressful.
It won't be that comfortable. But join us on Saturday when we live stream this match. It's going to be a hoot, a holler, and a hootenanny. Now, all that's left is for me to thank all of you for watching. Please smash the like button if you joined this. Hit subscribe if you even found a modicum of this interesting to you. Put your predictions down below. Check out our Patreon. Go to Grandstand Betters. They're an absolutely fantastic tipster website, which we do a lot of close work with. And join us on Saturday for a live stream of Oxford United visiting Shrewsbury Town.